I wasn't always a mommy with a purpose. About 7 years ago, I was on my own, um, and I was just out here just doing whatever, like I was in high school in my senior year, and I made some bad decisions previously that hindered me from moving forward in my schooling. And for me, the best decision was for me to leave home and get closer, get closer to the school, so that I could meet up with my responsibility at that time. And so I got up and left, didn't tell anybody in my family, so it came as a surprise when it happened. And about a month or two down the line, I ended up getting pregnant. I got pregnant with who is now my husband, and I was in shock. I mean, I was just like, how could you even let this happen? Like, how could I have been so irresponsible? How could I have been so immature and negligent that I didn't think so far ahead? And so I told Juba, I said, I want to get rid of this baby. I got to get rid of this baby. And he really questioned and asked me if this is something that I really wanted to do. And I said, yes, I had to do it, because at that point, I couldn't see past my mistakes. I couldn't see past the fear of letting my family down, the fear of what people would say, how people would judge me, the lack of the maturity and the choices that I made. I couldn't see past the fact that, number one, how am I going to have a child with somebody that I don't even know if I had a future with? Or what about the fact that I was in my senior year of high school and I still had no idea of what I wanted for my life? And now I'm supposed to be someone's mother. Like, it didn't make sense to me. It didn't match up with my reality. And I thought in that moment that was the best thing to do, which was to get rid of the baby. But little did I know that was just the beginning to the story. I went, I got it done, and at first it wasn't a reality for me just yet, because I hadn't seen that there was an actual child in me. And right before the doctor did the procedure, he asked, did you want a picture? And I was just like, I froze. And he did the ultrasound to double check if there was actually a child there, and there was a child. And at that point, I think that's when it became real. And I asked for a picture, he gave it to me, they put me to sleep, and then I woke up and there was blood, and there were a whole bunch of instructions on what to do next and things of that sort. And I'm just like, ooh, I'm glad that that's over with. But on that day, that thing ate me alive. After that day, I battled so hard. Sorry. I battled so hard, and I wondered, I said, God, how could you forgive me for what I did? I battled that people would judge me, and that maybe because I made that decision that God would never grant me the blessing of having another kid. And I battled that with some times where I would sit in the dark with the ultrasound in my hand, and Juba would find me on the floor crying because I was so broken, and I didn't know how to move forward from this. I did not know how to move forward from this. I said, how could you do this? I was raised in a Christian household where we knew right from wrong, and we knew what didn't honor God. And because I hadn't made all these decisions, it led up to this place. And I just could not wrap my head around it. And after I cried and swallowed myself into this hole of depression, I finally just decided to give it back to God. Because we are overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the words of our testimony. And I had to first ask God to forgive me so that I could forgive myself. And I've forgiven myself. And I've given it to God. And I am delivered by the blood of the Lamb. But with the words of my testimony, I hadn't been completely free. And I didn't know that until the moment that God told me that you have to tell this story. You have to tell the real story. Because I need to free someone else. So maybe you are a mom. Maybe you are an aspiring mom. There's more to come. There's more to come. Your mistakes have no hold on you. They have no place in your heart and in your life, because it'll lead you to make decisions that God never had in mind for you. God had to break me in order to get my attention. And maybe you're a mom like me, that you think that getting rid of that baby would ease your pain and take away your mistakes, but it doesn't. It doesn't change the fact. I didn't know that I had a purpose at the time, and now I know why. That God could use my story to help somebody else. Because I am delivered, I am set free. And for the first time in my life, I'm giving myself away. Giving myself away to help somebody else, to help another mom grow. Maybe you're a single mom and an unexpected pregnancy came upon you. I root you on for still deciding to have that baby. But because you're waking up alone doesn't mean that it's the very end. Maybe you're a mom that, maybe you are pregnant and you're contemplating getting rid of that baby. It is not the end, my sister. It's not the end. Believe me when I tell you it's not the end. Because God can use your story and He can still use you as long as you stay faithful to the calling that He has over your life. God has a plan for you to prosper you and to give you a hope in the future. So it doesn't matter what type of mistakes you make. It doesn't matter how many mistakes you make. God is great at redirecting. He's a master at what He does. When I first started on this journey, I assumed I didn't have to tell this testimony. Maybe I could just live in my freedom that way. And God urged me, no. You have a story and you need to tell it. You need to tell the story because it's going to free someone else. And I'm here to set you free, sister. So that's my testimony. I wasn't always a mommy with a purpose, but when God lifted me up and He took my broken pieces and put me back together, He gave me a purpose. That's why I go so hard about purpose and what it can do and what it is in your life. Because your purpose is attached to your legacy. It's attached to the years to come and the things that God wants to do in your life, but only if you surrender and if you trust Him and trust the process that He wants to take you on. I love you guys, and that's why I'm sharing my testimony and sharing my experiences with you, because I want the same freedom for you. And if God could do it for me, He can do it for you too.